The youngest baby was almost cooked and eaten by the other children. When the father, James, heard what had happened, he rushed home in a panic. He opened the door to find his youngest son missing, and all the kids were staring toward the large cooking pot. James quickly lifted the lid. Determined to get help, James went to a domestic agency to find a nanny. Ever since their mother passed away, James had been overwhelmed with work. That IT was his aunt who had been financially supporting him all this time. But now, she'd written to say that if he didn't find a new wife within a month, she would stop sending money. The children, however, believed any stepmother would be a nightmare, so they teamed up to drive away 17 nannies in a row. With no one to help him, James had no time left to even look for a new partner. Frustrated, he punished the kids by forbidding them from having dinner. In retaliation, the children tied up the cook and strapped her to the kitchen table. The maid saw what was happening and rushed off to report it. But just as they were heading toward the kitchen, there was a knock at the door.
Good evening, Mr. Brown. I am Nanny McPhee.
Good heavens. I suppose the agency must...
I do not belong to any agency, Mr. Brown. I am a government nanny.
It was a woman applying for the nanny job. She introduced herself as McPhee and walked into the kitchen, though no one paid her any attention. She pulled a cane from under her dark cloak and slammed it to the ground. Suddenly, the children's arms began moving against their will. They begged her to stop, but McPhee turned as if she were going to leave. Panicked, the children finally said the magic word, "Please." McPhee struck the floor with her cane again. When the green smoke cleared, the kids were stunned to see the kitchen sparkling clean. Scared straight, they lined up and quietly went off to bed. The next morning, they painted red dots on their faces, pretending to have hives. McPhee didn't call them out on the lie, thinking they'd won. The children grinned smugly, only to find their bodies suddenly stuck to their beds. McPhee handed them each a huge bottle of medicine and made them drink it all. Then, she told the chef to make soup out of scraps and leftovers for the kids' next meal. That evening, James came to check on the children and was surprised to find them incredibly polite. Only then did McPhee wave her cane and return everything to normal. Strangely, one of the moles on her face had disappeared. Later, James's aunt arrived, intending to take one of the children home with her, but the kids didn't want anyone to leave. Since their aunt was extremely nearsighted, they came up with a plan. They dressed up a pig to look presentable, just as the aunt was about to put on her glasses. To get a better look,
It was a bee. A big bee.
the aunt put the altered glasses back on and took a closer look, then scoffed, saying the child was too ugly, and asked for another one. That's when a donkey wearing the aunt's hat trotted out. She was just about to explode with anger when the donkey raised a hoof and politely greeted her. The aunt was delighted and happily decided to take her home.